Part 1, Anarcosindicalismo. Back home in Puerto Rico, before I got to the Honors College, my idea of research was this. It was these huge long research papers that were mostly just volume. I wrote 11 pages on the Brown v. Board of Education, 19 pages on nutritional education, 36 pages on the Mongols, 13 pages on the Norman invasion of England, 12 pages on Sigmund Freud, 32 pages on the causes and effects of the Great Depression worldwide, a 20-page political paper on the two-party system in Puerto Rico, and by the time I took my freshman thesis, I decided to write a 10-page quantitative paper on the major factors that contribute to teen death. Despite being just short of almost 200 pages in 2 years, I wouldn't describe any of this research as being nearly as meaningful as the research I would end up doing in the Honors College. Part 2, Aging in Popular Music. I made a presentation about the dances of different genres of Latin music, such as bachata, salsa, and merengue. Then I flew back to Puerto Rico to record my grandfather's singing at my cousin's quinceañera for my research on how music can bring older and younger generations together. This is what actually ended up getting me to join the Latin Dance Club here at USF, where I ended up becoming part of the performance team. This is also the first time where I felt like my research was more than just a paper, but was actually something I could apply to myself. Part 3, Arab Food and Culture. I took Arab Food and Culture for Roger Bencher Crown. In this class, me and my 3 group members, we collected stories about Turkish food for our research blog. We went to Turkish restaurants, we watched Turkish cooking shows, we interviewed Mrs. Bencher Crown's Turkish friends, all to post about it on our research blog about Turkish food. I ended up fasting for a day during Ramadan while I was taking the class, and I actually ended up giving up pork entirely. After the class, I started attending the Juma on campus occasionally, which led to me fasting for all of Ramadan actually. I later got to meet Dr. Mustafa. He's the medical director of the emergency department I work at, and he was born in Palestine. One day we were having a conversation over some dried dates, and we were talking about Arab food and different things I learned about Islam while I've been attending the Juma on campus. And while we were having this conversation, he actually invited me to go to his house and serve me some Saudi Arabian food. While I was there, I got to meet his wife, try all the Saudi Arabian food, and he even gifted me this stove actually that was bought right outside of Masjid al-Nabawi in Saudi Arabia. Later, we went to the mosque together to attend Juma, and while I was there, I also got to meet the imam of the mosque that we attended. After visiting the mosque and meeting with the imam with Dr. Mustafa, I was eventually inspired to read the Quran and continue fasting for next year's Ramadan as well. Part 4. Ethics of the End of Life with Dr. Lindy Davidson. I did my research in Ethics of the End of Life about how family members react to the terminal diagnosis of a loved one. Later that year in the emergency room, I had a 36-year-old male come in complaining of some shortness of breath after being diagnosed with the flu. His oxygen levels eventually started dropping all the way to the point where we had to intubate him. Then his blood pressure had dropped to 34/13, so we had to fly him out to get ECMO. ECMO was a machine that acts as an artificial heart and lungs. Before we flew him out to get ECMO, we noticed that his pupils were sort of blown and in different sizes, which is evidence for at least some severe brain damage. At this time, his wife and 2 kids were outside the room, and my research sort of felt useless. I also got to speak with Dr. Miller, who's an emergency medicine physician who's an ICU fellowship as well. Every Friday night shift, we like to celebrate Shabbat with her mom's homemade babka and mahallah from the USF Hello. Every time she has to give news to the family of a patient we saw together in the ICU, she always asks me to come with her. She says, "The research shows families cope better when I'm not the only one in the room." This made me realize that even if all research like mine could do is try to give language to the type of reactions that happen in the consult room, then it would still mean something. I don't think I would have realized this the way I did without that class. Part 5, Honors Capstone. I did my honors capstone at the Tampa Bay Museum of Art with the Connections program. I decided to do my research on art viewing activities for people with Parkinson's disease because my dad has had Parkinson's disease since before I was born, and accessibility is always something that I have to think about. I like to think I gave a unique perspective on the topic, and I had a great time while working at the museum. This research is actually what got me to become an ambassador for the Parkinson's Foundation in Florida. Doing all of these different areas of research in the Honors College with music, Arab culture, and ethics, I learned something important about research. While much of research is about finding the right answers, research is also about asking the right questions and seeing the full human experience behind the data. I hope to keep approaching this research in that same interdisciplinary way in the future, blending medicine, ethics, culture, and real lived experiences to better inform my future work.